So there's a few options that you have if you want to try and get video feed out of your DJI 3, 2, or Tegra, and for that matter, V1, V2 goggles. We're going to focus in on the DJI 3, 2, and Integra. And you can want this for various reasons. Maybe you just want to have a monitor when you're out flying with friends that you can share your video feed with. Maybe you have commercial uses for it. Could be anything from a handheld monitor like this that you want to give to somebody so that they can have freedom to direct, move around, what have you, while you're flying, so you can get feedback. It could be in the form of DJI smart controllers, which very well built, professional, always reliable, very little headache to getting things up and running. But there's a price tag with these. These are $1,000, and I'm going to say they're worth it, but some people are going to say that it's not. Me personally, if I'm in the middle of working with a crew of some sort, I'm going to go with one of these because I want to put forth a good perception, a good image of my professionalism. Let's say that you can't afford that, or you just want something for the field, share with buddies and stuff. You've got various options. Cosmostreamer allows for HDMI out. You get the video feed out. It comes in various forms, everything from a little Raspberry Zero that I like this little mount. I made that goes on your goggles, and you have to run a cable to a monitor. But then you've got something very small and simple and robust that you could use to provide video feed out to a monitor. You can either make or you can build one of these boxes. Cosmostreamer sells these themselves. They're $2.99, and it's just a Raspberry Pi, a $20 case, and this power cable. So $35 for the Raspberry Pi, $20 for the case. This power cable, say $9, and $150 licensing fee. And you could have this again, same as with this option. You have to have a monitor. You can run something like this. This is simply a little field box. See if I can open this up. Got a Raspberry Pi in there, got a monitor, and $150 licensing fee. And then you've got this little box that you can carry with you, a little compact. But maybe you want something a little bit bigger. Maybe you want something that's easier to see. You want something that maybe looks a little bit better than these options, or you just want something that's all in one and compact. Well, I'm going to show you how to build this today for half the price that you would pay at GetFPV.com. So first, let's start with going over all the components. I'll have them listed down in the description for you, but you will see that these are easily accessible. It's not a hard build. It's not challenging. Everything's plug and play except for two wires you will need to solder. But you can do this. If by some reason that you don't want to, feel free to contact me. I would be happy to build you one at a reasonable price. So starting out, let's take a look at GetFP's website. As you can see here, they've got listed for $5.99 plus tax. You're going to be looking at $660 for one of these. You can also, as I said earlier, you could purchase one of these either from GetFPV or directly from Cosmostreamer for $300. Again, you're looking at a $20 box. You're looking at a $35 Raspberry Pi. You're looking at a $9 cable. And then you're looking at $150 for the license. Everything Cosmostreamer is going to be $150 for a license. Whether you build it or you buy it, there's $150 for the license. It's steep, but when you compare it to a $1,000 smart controller from DJI, it's really not that bad. All right, considering what you're getting for it. All right, so as you can see here, we're going to focus in on the big boy, the expensive one. this is the box we're looking at. And as you can see right here, if you take a look at all of the ports and stuff, it's the exact same box with the logo, and you can barely see a faint color discrepancy right here where they've taken the logo off. So Cosmostreamer website, again, you can buy, which is the box I showed you for $299, or you can DIY DJI Goggles 3, 2 Integra. So let's do a calculator real quick. There we go. So let's start out $150 for the license. Next thing is we need a Raspberry Pi 4B, 1 gigabyte. It's $35. Then it's an odd size fan. Some of these cases have a fan cut out. Some of them don't. If yours does, this is the fan that fits. It's a weird 25 by 25 5-volt fan, and it's right here in AliExpress for $765, free shipping. So let's do $8. Next thing is you need the screen. I mean the touch screen. So real quick on the touch screen. So the SD card you put in here performs Cosmostreamer functionality. When you're on the field, if you wanted access to a computer, you simply take the SD card out and you simply put in your other SD card with Ubuntu or whatever the software you choose from. This device can be a computer, a mini laptop, and a Cosmostreamer all in one. So for $60 from DigiKey, you can get your screen, the case from Amazon, $28. The 28. Then you're going to need a 3.5 what do you call it? A barrel socket, a 5.5 barrel socket. So we're looking at $799. And you get 5 of them. You only need one, but you'll have more for whatever projects you have down the road. So let's say $8. Then you need your power supply. So that's $9. So $298. As a addition, if you want an additional power source. So you can plug this into an EcoFlow, you can plug it into a wall, you can plug it into any power source you want. But let's say you wanted the ability to run a Lipo in the field. So then an additional item would be this 2-pack for $6. A Maytech 6 to 60 volt Beck for $9. Simply take one end of this cable, take the far long end of the cable, cut it off, solder one end to the in voltage pads, solder the other end of the cable to the out voltage pads, plug this in, and you should have an XT60 lying around somewhere. So for an additional $20, you can have the Lipo power source as well. So as you can see, for $298, you can build you a field monitor for your DJI setup that can also run as a computer, and then I've also made a mod on mine. I put this cord 20 insert here, so now I can put it on I can put it on any quarter 20 tripod. So literally, this is everything you need for the build. You got your case, your components for your monitor. This all comes in one kit. You've got the fan, you got your Raspberry Pi, you've got your barrel connector. On the barrel connector, in this on this side with your inputs, there's a little rectangle cutout here that for lock. And if you can see, you can barely see it there. It says the word lock, right? I simply took a 3/8 drill bit, which is a hair too small for this barrel, but I simply took a 3/8 drill bit, put it in that little lock slot, and just drilled a hole in. And then once I got through, I simply just wallowed it out a little bit more until I could slide this in and put the locking nut on the back side. Super simple. It's not hard. There's nothing magical about it. Simply just drill a hole where the lock goes, and then just rotate it around. It's soft metal. It slices the shavings off until you can get the right diameter to slide this in. Once you slide it in, the next step is we're going to solder it to the Raspberry Pi 4. And up here on the overhead, or on the desktop, you can see the pinout. Pinout goes, you've got two, row 1, you got two 5-volt and a ground. On row 2, you've got an SDA, an SCL, and a ground. These are the only pins we're going to need. We're not going to need anything more than this. I'll have this in the description so that you can look. Since the monitor needs 5 volts and the fan needs 5 volts, and there's not another 5-volt pin in the pinout, we're going to flip this board over and we're going to solder these wires to this number 4 pin and this number 6 pin, but on the underside of the Raspberry Pi. The outside row, the first 2 pins are 5 volt. The third pin is ground. We're going to solder to those. So the one thing to remember about these wires, these connectors, is they're backwards. They're wired backwards. The center pin is actually the voltage, and this outer pin, the outer side of the barrel, is actually ground, even though the red is there and the black is here. So you can desolder these wires and swap them so that you have it matching color-wise correct, or cognitively understand that this black wire is actually your voltage and this red wire is your ground. So when you solder onto the board, like I'm fixing to do, you solder it properly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to solder ground first. Yep, looks good. This pin and this pin are 5 volt. This third pin is ground. Outside to ground, center pin to 5 volt. All right. Okay, so now I've got the board with the wiring installed. I've applied some liquid electrical tape just for extra protection. Now let's do the monitor. Insert the rim of cable, hold it in place. Close the latch. Then we're going to pull it over. Then we have this little connection here. Slide it in the socket, close. Now we've made all the connections. So now let's fasten her down. Okay, next thing, let's install our fan. And we're going to put the leads down because they're closest, because we need them to plug into these pins up here in the front. Can you see that? Yeah. We need them to plug into these pins here. So we're going to put the fan this way. Okay. Fan's connected. Next thing is you're going to run your ribbon cable, your DPI, DSPI cable, what have you. They're going to run it in this configuration from this port to this port. And you basically want the blue side facing down here and the blue side facing away on this end. Last thing is our wires. We've got 5-volt, SDA, SCL, and ground. We won't use this second pin. So 5-volt will run to the 5-volt pin. Ground will run to the ground pin. So 5-volt to 5-volt, which is pin number 4, and then ground to ground, which is pin number 6 on the diagram, which also happens to be the same 2 pins that we soldered the power input to. Then let's just use yellow for SDA, just for fun. We're just going to make SDA. Come on. Let me grab. And then, as we know, according to the graph, pin number 2, 1, 2 is SDA. SCL. SCL is pin number 3. And you're done. I mean, it's basically that simple. Let's maybe push some of this up underneath here. Kind of tuck it away a little bit. Just so we can put everything up without really having any problems. Okay. Last thing is we got ground and power. Our free 5-volt pin. And this is going to be a little hard because it don't have much slack, but you've got the Pinout chart. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th pin. 1, 2, 3. One, two, three, four, 5. 5th pin. Fifth pin. Now we've got everything plugged in. So we line it up. Simply put our four screws in. Now we have our completed box. Next thing we do is flash the software and install the license, and we're done. Okay, so the final step, the second scariest step, but yet still super easy step, is actually putting the software on the SD card that goes into the Raspberry Pi. So back on Cosmostreamer's page, we're going to come down here to the DIY section. Takes to a wiki, don't worry about it. Let's just click on Raspberry Pi 4B. And we're going to come down here, installing the Cosmostreamer firmware. So we got to install a couple apps. So first, let's just download the software. So we're going to click on that. While that's downloading, we're going to click on Win32 Disk Imager. Let that download. Then we're going to come down here to Windows application, and we're going to download this Cosmo Viewer NG application. Installer. Let's download that. So while it's downloading, let's go ahead and install the Win32 Disk Imager. Accept. Next, next, next. Create desktop shortcut. Next, install. Let's launch it. Okay. Now then, as you can see here, my SD card is drive F. So that's where we're going to put the software. So let's come to the software. Extract all. extract it to the downloads folder, wherever you want to. I'll do the downloads folder because once we install it, we don't need it anymore. So I randomly purge my downloads folder, so it'll just get purged the next time I empty it and get rid of all my trash. So we're on drive F. Let's go and select downloads, Cosmostreamer, load the file. So here, drive F. Let's write the firmware, the software to the SD card. Now that's done. Let's go back to downloads. This Cosmo Viewer NG. Let's go ahead and install that. This is good. This is how you're going to install the key that unlocks the software on the device. But also you can go in and you can make some additional parameters. You can put a logo page, things of that nature. Okay, so once you've got the software flashed to the SD card, once you've got the Cosmos Viewer NG installed, the next thing you do is you come and you purchase a license for $150. You'll get an email. In that email, it's asking for a QR code. When you put in the SD card when you put the SD card into your Raspberry Pi and power it on, you'll get a QR code on the screen. When you get that QR code, you take a picture, email that QR code back to Cosmostreamer. They will then email you the key. Once you input the software on the SD card, insert it into your Cosmo device, whatever version you've got, power it on, and what will happen is you'll get that QR code. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to open the Cosmo Viewer NG. I don't know what that stands for. Now we've got the Cosmo Viewer NG open. Let's connect to our device. As you can see here, it's putting off a Wi-Fi signal. So let's connect. All right, so you can see here it says bad license. That means we haven't installed the license. So you've emailed that back to the Cosmo Viewer dev via the email that you paid for your license on. Then you get an email back with your license key. Simply copy your license key. Let's go up to settings up here in the top corner where it says license. Paste. Install the license. Close. Now it's unlocked. The QR code goes away, letting you know it's successful. Now you simply just got to get your goggles, power on your drone, plug in your cable, and you're off and running. That simple. You can build these yourself. It's not hard. Showing you the step-by-step instructions. The monitor comes with instructions for the wiring too. I'll put up a pinout of what device goes to what pin so that you can follow along. Other than that, I hope you found this helpful. If you don't feel like doing this and you would like me to build you one, feel free. It's on quadsensei.com. When you place your order, I'll order the parts. I'll build you one, send it out to you. Should be about a week turnaround time. But honestly, you can build this yourself and you can save even more money. Like I said, you can do this for about $300. All right. With that said, love y'all. Peace out. Happy flying.